here's your lesson plan.
Looks like we got a new friend!
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Reliant. Its continuing mission? To seek out new worlds, to defend all life and all civilizations, to boldly dare where no family has dared before.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Scratticus Academy. I'm going to run through a few things real quick, and then we'll hand over to lovely Greg. So check out in chat. We're about to throw a load of links in there for our Twitter, Discord, all that shebang. I can't believe I just said shebang. That's Lauren's thing from Eberron. Never mind. It's getting there. But yes, we have two wonderful sponsors in the form of Bird in the Storm, whose link you can see in chat, and also Mage Hand Press, where you can also see the links in chat for merch, PDFs, you name it, it's there. Donations in this game, I think, isn't it? We were calling it a Q-tip. Is that what we went with in the end? Because they're no longer like data packs. Okay. So yeah, other than that, I'm going to hand over to Craig.
Oh, I am so super happy to be back. As you saw the comment in regular chat, backstage chat has been interesting to the point where I feel both beaten up and embarrassed. And I haven't said anything yet, but it's a real good one. But we have a really, really good show for you today. But because we had a week off, and especially because of the density of Star Trek and exactly what we were doing, and with the interloping nature of Q last episode, we have to go back before we can go forward. So to briefly recap what happened on last episode of Perfection Shadow, the group was roughly 2 weeks after their last adventure. They were brought in the Carina star system. They were brought to another planet, the planet of Camor. And along this planet, they were a pre-warp society that was just on the verge of perhaps joining interstellar space. And because of all of that, there was a Federation watch team that was in place to monitor this, to watch and record the event as part of like an inclusionary anthropology experiment. However, one of their field agents, Ricardo Lee, was killed during the gravity well experiment that had been conducted by this species. In of that, the Federation called in the Reliant. The Reliant was delivered. Because of the different humanoid aspects of this species, the away team, consisting of Amat, T, Takura, and our own Lieutenant Nat, had to decide how they would like to alter their current features, choosing between either a holographic rig, prosthetics, or of course, surgery. Surgery being the extreme and least detectable, holographic being the least invasive, but the one that could not really pass the touch test. So as each of them have loaded up on their loadout for exactly how they would present themselves, they were in the process of beaming down to the planet's surface when none other than the member of the Q Continuum, Q, showed up and showed all of them elements of their past, all in an effort to convince the crew that should they have the opportunity in the future to use or manipulate time, they would not do so. And almost as a counterproductive way of teaching them this lesson, he showed them elements of their past that could be greatly affected by time manipulation. And as all of this came to pass, we saw Takura, Amat after their injury. We saw Nat as she was saving Captain Yates. We saw the doctor as she was attempting as a child to save her mother. But finally, we saw a running theme in all of these flashbacks as a nurse with blonde hair, doctor with blonde hair, perhaps none of the above, met each of them in their past, and with a quaint "they're there," injected them with something, and then took their leave. And as all of this came to pass, and as Q gave in his cryptic way enough information to at least get Nat thinking about certain aspects of their past missions, we returned to the present task at hand. They beamed down after telling Captain Yates about Q. They beamed down to the planet's surface, where they were being taken to meet the observation team here on the surface, the ones that had just lost Ricardo Lee, the ones that had been watching with this immersive anthropology. And as they were walking, there were these small glowing discs that seemed to be arrayed along one of the tables, origin unknown. And just after the edict came down to not touch anything, Amat was caught as they tried to take one of these discs. After a chastising, he began the walk again, but Khan, the backseat passenger inside Amat's mind, whispered that he had in fact grabbed one and currently is in possession of it as we pick up our journey here in Perfection Shadow. So everyone, if we are ready to get started, I will let you walk into the office of one of the observation specialists, and immediately, Takura, you would recognize a fellow Vulcan as she turns, raises an eyebrow, and watches as the four of you walk in. Are you from the Reliant?
Before we jump in, Greg, can I just ask, what was the name of the planet that we're on again? Because I'm looking in my notes and I just have the word bees in capital letters, and I'm pretty sure that's not relevant to what we're doing right now.
Right? It's Kalmur is the Kalmur. Kalmur. I think I have my spell.
Kalmur.
Yes,
okay.
Kalmur.
And it was Ricardo Lee was the human who, yeah. Okay, cool. Sorry, I don't bees apparently. All right.
Not at all.
Okay.
So,
Nat is walking next to Amat now after the chastisement from last session.
What, when Takora went full on mum?
Yes. And it was very good.
Yes, it is agreeable to see you, and we are from the Reliant.
very well. Have you been briefed on what has occurred here?
I believe so. Are there any particularly pertinent details you wish to reiterate for our benefit?
Are we stating this on the record? I would hope that this is official. Have
Naturally.
you begun your investigation?
Well, we got dressed up. I mean...
Hearing all of this, Nat messages T and is like, "Is this how they flirt? Is it flirting?"
Like you could just hear like that awkward sort of noise. Like, not understand what is going on.
Nat nudges Amat.
Amat had been deep in thought momentarily, and then it's just, yes. Yes?
You all right?
Yep.
Okay.
If we're quite finished having this conversation, we are aware that a member of your science team found an unfortunate fate.
Yes, he did. And on the record, if the investigation has begun, I would like to state that I was against this type of interloping in the current warp technology of the species that we are watching. This is beyond the Prime Directive. I will take you now, Dr. Gurr, who's in charge of this area, but as...
Dr. Gurr?
Dr. Gurr.
Was it Dr. Gurr's idea to violate the Prime Directive then?
It was.
I assume that's not literally spelled G-R-R-R-R-R-R-R.
I spelled it G-U-R-R.
It's G-U-R. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm keeping the R, the extra one.
May we speak with this doctor?
Absolutely. And she takes you and begins to walk deeper into this kind of earthen cavern-like facility. Again, you see lined up along the walls, there are various bits and doodads of what you can only assume is the cultural equivalent to picking up coinage or articles of clothing, as they are full-on anthropologists. They are looking at the time and the date of the current culture in relation to their pre-warp society. You see bits of what you can assume is very state-of-the-art technology for the Kalmuri, but is something that would be very rudimentary for you all. And as you get further in, you are gifted with Dr. Norzen Gurr, who is a Catulan, she, her. Catulans are those... They were in the original series. They have, for the most part, like the white hair, kind of look like bronzed up gods with white hair.
Real quick, Greg, remind me, the gravity well is here, right?
The gravity well, you're currently in an observation facility that is cloaked from the city that they're observing. The gravity well is inside the city at their equivalent of NASA.
Copy. Got it. Cool.
As soon as you are brought in, both of my empaths would be able to feel that there is a disgust coming off of Dr. Gurr as soon as you walk in and a Federation presence has entered into her facility.
And he will probably send almost like a message to Nat. You getting this?
Nat adjusts her uniform and stands up taller, which probably makes her like 5'4", but whatever, taller. Puts her hands
Can't
behind her
help
back.
But see like a distasteful look on T's face after sort of sensing the disgust at them.
Dr. Gurr, it is agreeable to make your acquaintance.
Do whatever it is you're going to do, and then leave. We are in a delicate stage of our observation.
Naturally. How do you suggest that we proceed?
Tazine, the Vulcan that guided you to this point, relays to you the following information. Some of it you've heard, the rest of it is kind of nodded reluctantly by Dr. Gurr, but you find out that the experiment that claimed the life of Ricardo Lee happened 1 day ago, 1 soul cycle ago. It was an experimental artificial gravity generator. You all would know that this is the first step in achieving warp technology. It's also the first step in deflector beams, deflector dishes and tractor beams. And even for the Romulans, it was the first step in their cloaking device technology. Ricardo Lee and the Vulcan Tazine had forged IDs from an overseas country by the name of Pytulus. And they were masquerading as fellow professors from the University of Pytulus. And because of their interest and knowledge of the subject of gravity wells, were brought into this experiment. Now, Lee was actually brought in to the point where he was in the room during the test. It was then that this gravity well experienced some type of catastrophic failure. And when this occurred, Tazine, who had been reluctant to leave Ricardo, was nowhere near the facility when this event took place. It claimed the lives of not only Ricardo Lee, who was, his alias was Rika Lee, and hers was Tazen, as they were going under as Kalmuri, but it also claimed the life of the lead doctor and scientist on the subject, Dr. Couture, and also his chief assistant, Imran. So 3 people died in this failure. However, your job is, as part of the Federation, assess anything that you can about what happened and make sure that, because this was an unsanctioned jaunt into the city, and especially unsanctioned to get this close to a pre-warp technology and a pre-warp culture's first contact, first step initiative, you have to make sure there isn't anything left behind that could tie the Federation, alien technology, that would absolutely violate the Prime Directive. So that is your task, and questions can be asked of anyone on the team.
Dr. Gurr?
Yes.
I understand it was your idea for this little walkabout?
Yes, it was. This is immersion anthropology. We must be immersed.
Nat kind of looks over at Cora at that. When did you begin making contact with the people of this planet?
Tazine the Vulcan speaks up, though you're directing it at Gurr. 6 months ago, though it was only reported to Starfleet 2 weeks ago.
And why the delay?
Gurr prickles a bit. I am in charge here. Whatever I say goes. This is an independent outpost. Starfleet is liaisoning with us. You don't want to waste your technology or resources on us. I don't feel it necessary to share my knowledge with you. I am only calling because there was an accident.
Something has gone wrong, and therefore you need us to clear up your mess.
Empaths, there is a wave of rage coming off this doctor, but she remains silent.
Smiles a little bit at that.
Yep. Smirk.
It was illogical of you to think that Starfleet should not be involved in such a venture. Have you heard of the Prime Directive, Doctor?
Do not quote me. Regulation. No one knows that we are among the Kalmari.
Not yet, Doctor.
You, again, rage absolute coming off
Bigger smile then.
Yeah. We are scientists. This culture is producing a science that is redundant, things that we have known for centuries. The only way to learn is to experience what this culture is going through. We must be on hand to witness this breakthrough, to experience it through their eyes, to feel what it means to achieve this type of greatness. This is, for the humans, seeing someone, the signers, put pen to paper for the Declaration of Independence. You cannot
Having grown
read
up
about...
in England, Takora gives zero shits about the Declaration of Independence.
So does the Federation, to be honest, at this point. But
And Doctor, what if by your interference you have done nothing but cause irrevocable harm?
we have done no such thing.
Yet.
Dr. Lee asked, but they do not have the technology or the resources or the requirements, needs to genetically test to see if these people have perished. There's no reason to uncover Ricardo.
What makes you so sure of that?
Empaths, you feel a twinge of uncertainty. I know. I have been among them for longer than I have been on planet.
You know it.
I am an expert.
Okay, I bet you are. But if we could, do we have the body? Or have you left it down there with them? Oh yeah, she knows what it is. She's just making a point.
Yes.
Do it.
And you do
What
not
do
believe that they are not on the verge of developing such technology that could identify the DNA, considering that they were experimenting with gravity wells?
If they had the reason to look into the genetic nature of the victims, then perhaps, but they have no cause.
In your opinion?
My
You know
expert.
why? Life is curious. They're gonna find it. Someone is gonna want to try something at some point, and as you said, they're a civilization on the verge of breakthroughs.
How was Ricardo Lee, well, disguised? Through what means?
Both he and the Vulcan Tazine were using prosthetics because they came and went quite a bit, and they didn't want to go through the permanent reconfiguration, and the prosthetics gave them the ability to kind of slip in and out.
What is the burial ritual culture of this civilization?
There's nothing left of him. By my understanding, everything inside of the test field was liquefied. They would have to search through whatever's left. They're not going to do that.
In your expert opinion?
Yes.
Nat wants to give Takora a high five, but restrains herself.
As the empaths feel the rage and as Takora scores a point, let's go inside the mind of our ensign. Ensign Amat.
Yes.
You hear the familiar drawl of your shadow passenger.
Yeah.
The Federation, still meddling their nose in affairs of others. So little has changed.
They do that when you had your own body too?
I believe they have always done it. Used people to their own wishes.
I feel like that's a very, person thing to do, though. I feel like that's a trait that's pretty rampant through these galaxies. Maybe it's just a flaw in how people are.
Perhaps. From an imperfect society, this is something that could be a problem.
Are
But
there
not with-
perfect societies?
Perhaps not in design, but perhaps in practice, something that could be constructed. But I don't know. This is perhaps a poet's dream.
I don't think you should give up on your dreams.
Me either, Amat.
Hey, what's in these vials? Do you think they'll notice if we touch them?
I do not. Should we try?
We should.
Okay, so at this point, if you want to try to grab something, and I'll also put out to your character sheet that you can get some assistance here from Khan himself, if you would like to evoke your patron.
I am going to get assistance from Khan because, Amat's feeling a little rebellious after, a very public dressing down.
I am still by Amat, just to remind everyone.
Yeah.
That'll be reflected in the DC here. I would like you then to, let's see, let's do daring.
Okay.
And this needs to be fast, so let's do some security as you are doing a little kind of hand-eye type of action.
Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and add the 2d20 to my dice pool. So am I rolling this at 4d20 or
You are.
3d20? Okay.
40-20.
Sorry about that threat, guys.
No, it's fine.
Worked out. I'm not sorry. I'm doing it right now. Ha! This'll teach you. I'm gonna fail all of them, but that's fine. Ah, curses.
Okay, let's see, what was the threat increase for that? 1 or 2 for the first time you use it? Is it 2?
It's 2. Wait. Yes, it is 2.
Oh my god.
What?
No, I'm looking at the threat.
Oh.
Okay, you do
Yeah,
you. I fully support what you're doing. I'm mad
No,
at
it's
Greg.
Everything's fine.
Okay.
We
so,
still have 10 momentum.
That's true.
Okay, so just because this is a passive type of thing here but she's a security officer, we want to see if Nat recognizes what's going on. So I need just a straight fitness and security, and you must you must have 2 successes or more.
Now, in terms of observation, my DC is decreased by 1. So I only need 1, I think.
Okay.
In this case.
I'm just saying,
We're gonna say it's a 1 because you're telepathically communicating with T quite a bit here, and your focus is a little bit. We'll see. Let's see what the successes are before we.
I just want to steal the Cheez-Its, Mom.
I know. It's just 1.
Yes.
Okay, so you turn and look at Amat just as they turn and look at you and smile or whatever. No player agency taken, as there may have been some shenanigans afoot, and as you look around, you don't see anything missing, but there's the smile. So we're going to leave it at no evidence, but suspicions. How's that?
I just like have this feeling of Nat in that
argue
moment
with it.
when, like, you know what you do with like a dog who's like chewed something you don't want them to chew, so you have to like open their mouth and try get it. I get like that same sort of vibe of just like, come on, give it up. What is that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Amat is definitely making a puppy smile right now. Like I imagine that like Nat like heard something over her shoulder and like looks over and Amat's just, hey,
Hey girl.
you, hey.
What we are going to do, though, is because that observation thing tings at me a bit, I want you to make another roll as you look around. This is going to be comparative to see if you can pick up on the fact that there's a little space where one vial used to be.
We'll
Is
see.
there one lip gloss missing? You'll never know.
So true. Is it a bobby pin? Because then it's gone.
Oh yeah.
What is this the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes. Security. Oof, those last ones were bad rolls. Yes, they do have an applicable focus. Try again. Okay. 2.
You think something's gone, but you have no. Yep. You don't know what it is, but there you see a space missing, and
Nat's smile drops a little. She's kind of been instigating since Takora took over, trying to play like middle sibling, which is really weird for her, but her smile drops at that.
Oh no.
But she doesn't say anything yet.
Don't
Amat,
be disappointed in me.
Amat, you hear in your mind, now, the coin in your pocket, put it in the space where the vial was. Make sure she sees.
Amat very shamefacedly pulls a coin out of their pocket and sets it back on the table.
It looks like it goes there. You've seen them on the tables before.
Nat looks disappointed in Amat.
Oh! Amat's bottom lip quivers.
She doesn't say anything yet.
Oh, that's worse. Silent disappointment is the worst.
Do not worry, Amat. We have a far greater prize, and her disappointment will soon be alleviated.
Really?
I promise.
Okay. I trust you.
And I trust you.
That's so nice.
We're friends.
Best friends.
The very best. So back to the conversation at hand. As the crew, with that brief interlude, you are getting your information from both Dr. Gurr and Tazeen. It is at this point that you must ask your questions, and when ready, Tazeen will take you to the site of the accident, if you wish.
What some of our questions, we were chatting about it. We want to know what Tazeen was up to when this happened. That was one. Anything they know about why the gravity well failed, although I don't know if they will know anything about it. Anything that was leading up to its failure that was odd. Does that sound good so far, y'all? And
Yeah.
Maybe who was everyone in the room?
And we will probably need some kind of forged documents to be able to get to it.
Tazeen tells you the following. One, that she was in other parts of the city conducting observations that were observational research for the gravity well experiment. She was not invited to it. This was something that Ricardo Lee was invited to. She had the option of observing, but there was another member of senior staff who was observing by the name of Dr. Sifa Jezin, an elderly member of the species. But she was off. And then the other question was there anything leading up to it that was off or anything? Tazine, that they were proceeding magnificently. They were making leaps and bounds. There wasn't anything that they were able to witness that would look like they were heading down a bad path, that they were making a scientific mistake, or that they had forgotten something. So in their observations were so in depth that they were actually aware of the progress and whether or not there were flaws in the design, which to all of you would indicate an intimate awareness of just how deep into this experiment they had become. Tazine also tells you that the people in the room were the lead scientist, Dr. Rax Kortar, his main assistant, Lot Immerin. I'll put all these in our Zoom chat. And of course, Ricardo Lee, who was going by the alias Rika Lee. And it is Dr.
Nat doesn't say anything in front of the people we're in front of, but just thinking about what we learned with Q maybe smells a little like sabotage and maybe time fuckery, because that's what was going on with us. So that's just something I want to tell us later. If it's true that nothing was really wrong with it.
Tazine also ends her observational report as you ask the questions with the following statement. I have filed a formal report that is 6 months old, as it was not allowed to be transmitted to the Federation, against our inclusion in this immersive anthropology. I believe that we should have been observational, but as indicated by the precepts of our inclusion, from afar. We should have used sensor equipment instead of our presence. And Dr. Gurr, the rage is a-flowing, but she says nothing.
Is Tazine cute?
Tazine looks like, let me see, I'll give a face cast equivalent to Tazine. Because I just watched Fury Road, Charlize Theron. How's that?
That changes so much about what's happening, Greg.
Hey,
because
girl.
now that it's passed, you believe or disbelieve her more, or how does that
I
work?
believe her more, but that's a good point.
Smoochability is the main trait that we place into trusting NPCs.
Come on.
All right, well, let's do this then.
You
As
didn't
this
want to do
revelation-
the experiment either, huh? We're on the same page.
And eyebrow raises. I would like an insight and a... Give me an insight and a... Let's do a science from just the empaths. Just the empaths.
Are we looking for something in particular? I don't know if observation would come into this at all.
This is empathic awareness.
Okay. I know we have extra momentum left over, at least 2, so I'm going to use 1.
You have 6
got
right now.
2. Sorry. It's all right. Just gonna.
Okay.
How many rerolls? I think I have 3 rerolls. Let's use a reroll, and I'll actually do it right this time.
That's good.
Insight. Science. 3. No.
Okay, we're gonna have one of those cancel out the threat that I was going to take from the failure of T. But as you're sitting there and getting the rage that is kind of permeating the room with your empathy feelings and your ability to discern emotion, you catch a bit of it's hard to define because it's so slight, but there is a bit of perhaps sexual interest.
Into Cora.
A smidge.
Okay.
No, you can't tell where it's coming from. It's literally like a beach ball floating around in an ocean of rage. You're not sure where it originated from.
Tell me more, Greg.
It's Wilson.
The Cal Murray equivalent of Barry White starts playing over the. Oh,
Just hear
right.
Careless Whisper, like a MIDI version of it.
Nat goes, oh. Very
It's
awkward.
gone over T's head. She's like, what? Like, sort of.
Nat will not make eye contact with anybody.
Could you imagine the complication? Sorry.
Great comments in chat, Rock. I love it. Okay, so with those questions answered, Tazeen says that she can take you to the site of the accident, which is at the research facility inside the university in the capital city. You do not need any type of official documents. She is already in, because of the accident, she says that she is sent back to the University of Batylis, which they're from, that kind of false background that they came up with, that they were sending over representatives to kind of ascertain what happened themselves to be able to take back and tell Ricardo Lee's family. So they're expecting people to come with Tazeen. Now, with that being said, a couple things to know. You know what the appearance of these creatures look like, the species. They have tufts of hair on the back of their hands. They've kind of got a Wolverine type of thing going on the face, fox-like ears. They have different colored eyes as far as more vibrant a bit. Speaking of their eyes, they also have an element of dark vision that allows them to see at night. So you'll see a reduced kind of illumination throughout the city. It's a darker place. They have a strength equivalent to Cora, so they have like a Vulcan level of strength. And the only other thing that you would need to know is you cannot take any of your tech with you, with the exception of T. T can take they have one mocked up, it almost looks like their equivalent of an iPad, but it's mocked up to be a tricorder. So you have one that is a health tricorder. I mean, it can do anything, but it's for T's issue.
So, do we not have phasers on us? Okay, cool.
And once again, you do not have communicators on you either. Right. If you are in an emergency, you have the injection that was given to you that you can touch, and there is no communication. They figure if you trigger that subdermal emergency beacon, you are immediately beamed out. There's no question as to how many, energize. Your individual signature is beamed back out.
All right. I will ask Tazeen about some of the equipment around here, like the coin that I saw Amat put back, what it's for.
She walks over and picks it up, and she says, this is just simply a currency. The value of it changes according to whatever you program in. It is a rechargeable form of monetary unit. And you notice there's like a kind of almost like a raised holographic display on it. It has a numeric on it that you really can't identify. You assume it must be some figure that the Kalmari would use.
And the rest of this that's on that same table, is this all taken from the culture?
She looks, and it's indicative of numerous things, and she points to some of the vials. This is all biological matter. This is from vegetation and animal life on the planet, including some genetic material from the Kalmari themselves. All of it was taken in code with the Prime Directive. This is what we should have been doing. And again, rage.
so uncomfortable. All right. Just making sure there weren't any volatile substances around here. There aren't, are there?
No, of course not. Per Starfleet protocol, anything that could potentially be combustible or dangerous or radioactive has been stored in an off-site facility that we beam in and out from.
It is reassuring to know that someone follows Starfleet protocol.
Her eyebrow raises.
If there are no further questions, I suggest we continue with the investigation.
So with that, as you are ushered outside of the facility, you are taken to the transport pad that you arrived on, and you are beamed about 50 yards from that spot. You are now outside of the facility. There is a holographic display over the great observation window that overlooks the city. But other than that, it looks like a rock face. And for those of you that walked through one of these rock faces recently on Carina 7, it looks surprisingly like something a Romulan would make. But then again, holographic technology that looks like rocks, it's pretty similar. So you all are taken down into the city proper. And as you get there, we end that scene. And we are going to take away 2 of your momentum as we get into the next stage. So as you are taken down to the facility, as soon as you are, it's a very similar humanoid design. You see that the architecture, as it seems to be the same on Vulcan and Romulus and Earth, maintains the geography of geometry as you walk among the rectangles and triangles of what is civilization. And as you get inside there, you do notice a decided lack of streetlights or exterior illumination. It's still daytime, but anybody that's walked through the streets of those that require light to see automatically realize it's a dimmer, more shadows available. But as you get towards the university itself, you see a very large complex, glass on the front of it. And as you walk inside, you are greeted by a Kalmuri in a suit. He seems a bit disheveled as he walks up. Lean, edgy, middle-aged, if you can gather by the different colorations of the fur. He walks up and immediately addresses Tazeen. I'm glad you're here. It's awful circumstances. And he looks at the rest. My name is Khan Marklet. And he goes to offer a greeting to you all, but as he extends his hand, it is palm down. Khan Marklet.
None of us came up with code names. I was just doing it. We're walking out like we need code names.
We also need to know, how their handshakes work here.
Tazeen steps in front of
there we
Marklet. We appreciate the pleasantries, Doctor, but we are here on official business. If we could see the site, then we can get to work and get this gruesome bit of research done. Yes, of course. Apologies. This way. And as he leads you deeper into the facility, you get inside these walls of white, and there in the center, in a cylinder-like area, almost like a medical observation place, which with a raised kind of observational deck, you see down inside a room, a circular room, and the glass around this observation deck is twisted. The walls are twisted and they're puckered inward as if some great force had pulled them inside. Sometimes whenever you have a bottle of water and it depressurizes and the pressure changes, you see it collapse in on itself. This is done on an architectural scale, as you actually see the walls have pulled into the center. And when he sees you all noticing that, it's the gravity pulled. I don't have to tell you, but it's right this way. And he takes you down and opens a door to the floor of this experiment chamber. And what you see are the following. In the very center of the room is a mass of twisted metal. There's plastic, or what you would conceive to be a plastic-like substance. Everything in this room seems to have been smushed together in a snowball of violence. And as it's seated and crushed and resting in the center of the room, you see that the only thing that hasn't joined this sphere in the center is a massive rectangular plate that is leaning against the wall. A huge solid metal sphere that seems to have dented the floor where it rolled towards the center, and a cube filled with what looks like mercury that has also shifted towards the center but has not reached the center itself. Takora and T, both of you roll me a reason and a science here. This does not have the assist of the tricorder because you would kind of be revealing your hand if you did so. Okay, fantastic. So both of you come to this realization that these three, the slab, the cube with the liquid in it that looks like mercury, and the large sphere are typical gravity experimental items. They're super dense, super heavy items that you use to kind of gauge how much strength you have in these kind of pre-warp gravity field designs. Does it move the cube? Yes. Does it move the sphere? Yes. Does it move the slab? Yes. And so they keep all of those types of things on hand to measure and mirror. And the fact that all of these things have been moved in some shape or form indicates the severity of this collapse. This is almost a singularity in nature as it has drawn in this mass. And Dr. Marklet, as he's looking around, the empaths feel shame.
Were we told if he was on site when it happened?
He was up in his office, though. He was giving a tour to potential investors from the government.
He can't help but just, she's not saying anything, but she's just watching him. Just because she can feel the shame of it all, she's just watching him, almost distracted by him.
Yeah, he just shows everything. There are no cameras or captures in here, but we were able to piece together the following. And you see he's kind of wobbly as he walks forward. He indicates the ball area, the crushed snowball of violence. I believe that Rickley and Dr. Kotar were pulled into this first. Imran, the assistant, we believe that they hid behind the console, but gravity reaches everywhere. It flows. We believe that it crushed him against the console and then pulled he and console into this. There's nothing left of them.
Was there any indication before the collapse happened that it was going to happen? Any alarm? Was there any panic?
None. The only things that happened, I was giving a meeting to investors, and we believe that there was a malfunction, but it makes no sense. We had an older, and at this point you feel disgust coming off of them.
Mm-hmm.
We had an older member of our staff observing she is of ill health and recused herself to the restroom. They began the experiment early. We are unsure, but we had safety precautions in place that if the gravity increased to a certain point, it would trigger a manual default. As soon as the gravity in the area increased to dangerous levels, it would shut off immediately. But it didn't work. I don't know how that could happen.
Do you have no ideas at all? You, personally, not what everyone else has been saying.
If he kind of leans forward, if someone were to sabotage this experiment, they would have had to have been in the room. The lab is sealed. It's sealed, and it was sealed at the beginning, and all of the protocols were in place as soon as the locking mechanism hit. All logs indicate that the failsafe was in effect when it was sealed. The next time the door opened is when Dr. Jensen returned from the bathroom and saw what had happened and rushed down to open, but it was too late. There was no indication of the door opening before that. There's no way someone could have been in there, sabotaged the equipment, and left without dying themselves.
Unless they had time on their side. And sort of gives a look to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand, but...
And out of those who were in the room, Professor, who do you believe was most likely to have been the saboteur?
None. If none of these people had a death wish, Dr. Couture was on the precipice of becoming the most famous scientist to ever exist. The applications of this technology are endless, and you see him kind of breaking into the same routine that he was probably giving the investors.
Right.
Spaceflight, and it could aid us in ground transportation.
Takora will reach out a hand and very gently touch him on the shoulder and say, Professor, would there be any others in competition with what was happening here who might wish to sabotage the experiment?
No. This was not an open committee. Dr. Couture, he was able to... This has been his prize, if you will, for years. He is the sole luminary in this particular field. And he indicates, and he snaps his fingers almost rudely, and you do get this sense of arrogance, kind of here. And you see a Kalmuri, she, her, come over. This is Meni Norland. She is the graduate student for Dr. Couture. Perhaps she could illuminate a bit. She was not here during the accident.
And T is sort of, this is only to Nat at the moment because she doesn't want to say it out loud. So what if there's someone, or was someone in that room willing to die to make sure these people didn't achieve their goal? We're not who we say we are. How do we know they are?
Dr. Marklet, I assume these investors never approached the room.
I had them ushered out. I didn't. It could ruin the university.
What could? Oh, this.
To know-
Yes.
Veil, yes.
And where is Jemison now, Professor?
She is taken ill. She is very old. She's at the hospital.
Just to you guys out of character, I really just wanted to ask the question, how long has she been old for? Was this a
Yeah.
We should
It came on slowly. Amat, your passenger, every once in a while as the discussion goes on, you've gotten used to the audible cues that you get from the back of your mind where you hear a huh and even a interesting. Just, running commentary by Khan.
Have you ever seen like gravity experiments like this? Probably, right?
Oh, yes.
Do people die this often?
At the beginning, there is always death.
Oh.
Pioneers
always.
die.
Oh my gosh. What do you think happened?
Oh, I believe you all will figure it out, but, mistake, perhaps. But one that could have potentially been avoided.
When you say perhaps like that, it doesn't make it sound like a mistake anymore.
It certainly does not. But I would know nothing about it. I'm with you.
That's true. Okay. Amat does not touch anything in this room, since it was probably murdered somebody. They're very spooked.
The graduate student steps forward, the younger Kalmuri, identifies herself as Mimi Niloran, and she seems very distraught. The empaths could corroborate her outward appearance with her inward appearance, as she both looks and feels distraught.
I mean, to be fair, she is a grad student. It's our constant state of being.
Yep.
Right. It's a default state, but
Right.
This may be a little bit more than normal.
I mean, you say that, but
Okay.
I need you
Takura
to
will-
drop her name in the backstage chat if you don't
Oh,
mind.
I'm sorry. Absolutely. I was going to do that, and then I
appreciate that.
spaced out. Absolutely.
No, you're fine. Please continue.
Yeah. Takura will sort of just like nod at her and say, "Is there anything that you wish to add?"
No. I had been here. Perhaps I could have stopped it, but Dr. Couture gave me the day off, so. Empaths,
On that
you read
particular day.
Empaths, you read a hint of ambivalence that kind of creeps through the sadness.
Was it usual for him to give you days off?
Yes, when he didn't have need of me.
Of course.
how long did you know him for? How long have you been working for him?
2 semesters.
T is sort of standing silently to the side, hands behind her back, and she's keeping an eye on how they're feeling, but also, as she speaks, how the other guy's feeling as well, over whatever she says.
T, I will also allow you this moment as you are back a bit from all of this. You could swipe with your tricorder. Now is probably a good time. Getting the actual readings from it would be difficult, but being able to actually scan the area might be
as soon
something
as she
you
gets an
can-
opportunity, that's what she's going to be doing.
Okay. So basically, for just narrative purposes, it's almost like turning on your iPad, and then you can't do anything but walk around with it and kind of lean towards certain things, and so you're just kind of broadly scanning. You have no idea what's being picked up, but in a way, you're just kind of taking in the whole room as you do so.
Yeah, I start walking
And-
around, pacing.
So, yeah, she's not able to add anything other than she had the day off. She was the grad student and assistant to Dr. Rax Couture. She believes that she could have stopped it. And again, you get this hint of ambivalence about the process or her being sent away. You're not sure exactly, but it kind of spikes around whenever she mentions that she was dismissed that day.
I'm gonna press her about the reason that she was given the day off. Sorry, there's so many alarms going off outside. Did he give you a reason this time?
No. She's lying.
Can you show me around the area?
Of course. What would you like to see? And at that point, Marklet looks around and he says, and you can feel this frustration. It's compounded by there's a greed element in the empathy as well, or the reading. I don't understand how this could have happened. It was sealed. No one can leave. We took every precaution. This shouldn't have happened. And from the doorway, you hear, not with our science. And as you all turn to regard a Kalmuri she-her in a long trench coat, wearing a badge and flanked by 2 security personnel. As she steps forward, she simply says, and she's looking at Tazine, said you were from the University of Tulis? And she starts taking in all of you. They have no record of a Tazine or a Rickley. I'd like you all to come with me now. And you see the 2 police officers reach down and touch the weapons at their side.
PK and Samson both say no thank you, but Amat will wait for everybody else to give an indication. But primed for hugging.
Under whose authority?
Dr. Marklet looks back and forth between the 2 groups. This is Inspector Dory Lannox. She's in charge of the investigation. She works with ABI. You should probably go with her.
Very well. Put your arms away, Ensign.
Just stretching.
Pass, if we do follow, if we go past, was it what? Manny? What was the
Meanie to Lauren, yep.
T leans in to her. There's this. If you didn't have the day off, do you think you could have stopped it?
Tazine, the Vulcan who is right behind you, walks up, looks at Mimi, looks at you, and says, "Tell her nothing." as you all are ushered out by local law enforcement.
Charlize
And
Theron's a bitch.
Didn't know
You
this
never
was
know. Never
I didn't know
hear
this
it.
was Prometheus movie, Charlize Theron. I mean, jeez.
Is Tazine's coming with us? She is being escorted as well.
Yes, you are all being, let's just say, detained, for lack of a better word, right now.
I will shoot her a look, though. T will not be happy.
Yeah, I'm
I
very
thought you-
confused.
I thought you were just gonna end that sentence with "I will shoot her," and I was like, "Fuck yeah."
Let's do it.
I don't have a phaser.
Let's
Yeah, but we
Right.
got
The
these.
tricorder.
No, we got these, y'all.
Yeah. Sun's out, guns out.
Yup.
Yeah, T will glare at this other Vulcan, but will not move out of her way until she's told to move by anyone else.
Okay. So it's just moments later that Mimi Lauren is not being escorted out.
Yeah.
It is you all and Tazine, and this Inspector Lanix gives the indication, and if there is any type of non-compliance, the two police officers gently place hands on shoulders and begin to guide you out.
I suggest that we comply.
Yeah. Nat's just looking back at Meanie like, but we'll walk.
T will allow herself to be guided out. If anything, she's quite happy their hands are on her shoulders.
Yes, and of the last little bit of empathy that Nat and T glean from meaning the Lauren, you still get that feeling of that default graduate feeling of forlorn, of sadness, but that ambivalence spikes just for a moment as you feel satisfaction as you leave. So we're going to cut from this scene, which will decrease your momentum by 2 more. As we get down to the ABI, the Aphios Bureau of Investigation, you are standing in your prototypical, it seems like it doesn't matter what cultural society it is, everybody has an interrogation room. You are all together, though. You have not been separated. It is Tazine and T and Takura and Nat and Amat, and of course Khan, as you're all around the table, and you're in there alone with Inspector Lanix as she looks down and... So, what is, and I can't remember this, back on Petulus, what is the for barrier nights, what's that tradition that you all do? It's so strange, but, and I almost, it's on the tip of my tongue, but there's that tradition that you all do. What is that?
Tazine's an anthropologist and she's answering this.
Tazine, there's nothing to feel from Tazine, but, and their Vulcans have the greatest poker face known to, yeah. Yes, Amat.
Is this why we were arrested?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, you were in character.
It just doesn't seem like it's like super relevant, but like I understand if you want to know. I wanted to know if this was why we were arrested.
Did you want to go back to school?
No, I just was wondering
I
if
was
this
asking the
specific
inspector
Yeah, I
if
was
they
just
wanted
wondering
to
if
go
this
back.
specific question was why we are being arrested. Is it?
I was simply curious. I couldn't remember what you all did on barrier night, but I tell you what, I last time I was there, I took a picture of it, and you see her reach into people would go for like a folder, and she pulls out a sheet, looks to be photographic paper, and reaches back and slowly turns the lights off in the room. You are in pitch darkness, and she says, "No, what is this you're doing in this picture?"
Did we see the picture before the lights went out? Nah.
The
Is
back
this-
of it.
Is this a picture of me?
It is not.
Then how would I know?
Because it's right in front of us. Because a lot is right in front of us.
He tries to like slide in before Mark keeps saying, I don't understand why you're asking us these trivial questions when people have died. Do you want to waste time? Is that what this is?
Right from your ear, T, you hear her. Of course not. I'm over here.
Oh,
As she
cool.
snaps.
Oh, it's okay. We're being hazed. I was in 3 fraternities. It's fine.
3 fraternities. Goodness.
I
And
didn't
believe
stay,
you
no.
were thrown out of each one.
Not thrown, just politely asked to never come back.
Invited out, one might say.
Yeah.
Can I track her movement just via sound in the room?
Roll me a fitness and security, yeah.
Can I do it via how she's feeling? So that we get a different view, or does that not work? Is it just in the general?
Yeah, empathetic, or your empathy feeling and you're able to pull from that isn't like a sonar.
Yeah.
You can't detect where they are, but you can detect the feeling in the room. That's why sometimes it's confusing if there's a lot of...
How does she
2
feel?
successes.
superior right now. Yeah, you can tell that she's over by the last position that you had for T.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm just gonna keep an ear out for how she's moving.
You hear her move back over to her position, her original position, as you see the lights start to climb back in the room as her hand pushes the lights back up. You see her hand reach forward and throws something across the table to you all. You see a crushed Starfleet communicator badge.
Anthropologists.
Anthropologist.
Is this part of the hazing?
That was not in character, Greg.
I don't know between you and TK. I'm sorry.
We're very
You're
close.
not gonna try and make us eat this, are you?
I don't believe that's what you do with it. I believe it is a type of communication device.
What does this have to do with the university?
She narrows her eyes at Ahmad. You know, you are either a fantastic asset or a horrific liability. I'm not sure
No.
yet.
My mother says the exact same thing about me.
All 3 of your moms.
All 4 of my mothers.
That's true.
Both of my dads.
Yep.
There's a eyebrow raise, if that's in character,
It
from
is.
Inspector Lanix. Yeah. She sits back down and spins a paper and slides it forward. Of course, Tazine's probably the only one that can actually read what it says, as universal translators don't really progress to written. She says, the DNA of Dr. Couture and Imran were apparent in the lab, but regally, abnormalities never seen before from any calamari. How do you explain that?
How do you explain it?
I have a crazy theory.
Please enlighten us.
Amat leans on the table.
T just in her head is just like, I told him told them. Like, she's not saying it to Nat, but Nat can hear it almost saying it to herself.
She stands, and again, there is a palpable smugness of superiority as this insane idea that she has is 100% believed by the inspector. As she turns back around and says, "You can't see when I turn the lights out. If you are like your friend Wrigley, you don't have the same DNA. Can't see. Different DNA. That," she indicates the crushed communicator. "Technology that we've never seen." She puts her hands palm down on the table. "Want to hear something crazy?"
Is it as ableist as pointing out that I can't see in the dark?
Asset reliability. She looks around, not sure who's in charge yet of the rest of the group. Tazine, Takura, T, and Nat, and then back to Amat. Pretty sure Amat's not in charge. If Ambassador are able to read anything. "If you can harness this one, perhaps you have something."
Are you going to tell us your crazy theory, or are you just going to keep stalling?
"You're aliens. You don't belong here. I don't know where you come from. But you're not one of us."
It's as bad.
What? Okay, Greg, you're out of character. I'll just increase the pitch of my voice to make it clear. Okay. What is the protocol right now?
I have just popped up in Roll20 for you the Prime Directive.
Yeah.
And it is the Prime Directive because it is the chief rule, if you will, of Starfleet. The Prime Directive has a simple statement that begins, "The Prime Directive prohibits Starfleet personnel and spacecraft from interfering in the normal development of any society and mandates that any Starfleet vessel or crew member is expendable to prevent violation of this rule."
Mm-hmm.
Now, it goes on to further expand on this concept by saying you must try to avoid any type of contamination, especially of a pre-warp culture, when among them.
Why? Also, out of character, why is there a Starfleet communicator badge? They weren't with Starfleet. Okay, thanks. Just double checking that's wrong. Okay.
Cool.
That does sound crazy.
In the meantime, Ahmad is like leaned over to T and is like, "Are we gonna be able to get extra credit hours on this? Because this seems like a waste of time. I think we could probably just write our advisor though, right? That's probably fine." And yeah.
Look over and then look back and it is a waste of time, isn't it?
It's a waste of time. I am leaning on my persuasion focus.
Yeah. Perhaps instead of being aliens, we just outrank you, Inspector.
No, see, I thought about something like that. Perhaps you were industrial or military spies, but then I thought if someone was an industrial or a military spy, they wouldn't be as incompetent with their backstories. So there's that air of superiority that would accompany somebody with a technology base, and she points again to the communicator. However, if you did cause this catastrophe, you never would have come back to investigate. Would make no sense. So, in all likelihood, you're here because your Wrigley died unaware of your vast knowledge or technological power, which means we're on the same side. And with that same technological power, I simply ask for you to help me solve this case.
Whether or not your theory is correct, I do agree that together we might be able to unravel what happened here.
Then we agree. I tell you what, I'll leave you alone, and I'm sure your vast technological powers will let you know you are not being observed, you are not being recorded. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll be back in a few minutes. And she stands up and walks out the door.
Is the badge still there?
Mm-hmm.
What about the photo?
It is.
Neat.
It's a picture of the inspector. It looks to be at some type of graduation, perhaps from the academy. Please.
Right.
This is unreasonable. Rude.
If anybody... I assume that we're all in agreement that no way she ain't listening. So Nat will not pick up, but observe the communicator badge more closely, like as if she hasn't seen one before, just to see if there's anything odd about it. It's crushed, as if it was in the lab. That seems to be what was implied, at least. Anything else odd about it?
Nope. It's you would know that the communicators themselves are pretty durable, but you saw firsthand what this grav field experiment gone wrong did,
Right.
and the fact that it is even still identifiable as a Starfleet badge is a testament to construction. It definitely seems like one, though. I mean, without a roll.
Yeah, can we see inside of it? I'm trying to figure out how she would know it's a communication device, one, if it's broken, or...
You can see that it hasn't been tampered with because it was already compromised, but you can see that the inner workings of it have been pulled out a bit, and there is wiring and circuitry at a level far removed and far reduced than what this society is capable of replicating. It's almost like peering into, if one of us opened up a service panel on the Enterprise and looked around and said, oh my God, it's that different, normal for you all, but for this society, the eyeball test proves immediately whatever this is very different.
Okay. I think we can all agree that we'd love to be of any assistance in this investigation. And Nat looks around at everyone and then glares at Tazeen.
Would you agree?
If we are following rules, might I suggest that the easiest way to take care of this situation is to simply beam out.
Did she say that quietly?
No.
Oh, I hate her. Damn it. How could you make me hate Charlize Theron?
Oh, because it's my thing. T, at this point, nothing has been taken from you. I am pushing something to you on roll 20 under the handout section. It'll be the tricorder findings. You should see it now. Tazeen looks at all of you. This is an untenable situation. Ricardo is gone. It'll be an anomaly in that as long as we are gone and they don't have a chance to produce a medical experiment or test on us, it will be a mystery, but not one of extraterrestrial origin.
You're talking crazy! Just because Nat doesn't want to confirm anything.
T reaches out to Nat again because she doesn't want to say anything out loud. to these people, and she's basically going to give her the reading she's got.
Yeah.
And she's going to. There is no way that they can prove that Lee died in there. All the DNA is mashed together, basically. It's impossible to separate it. So there should be roughly equal proportions of all the individuals in there left behind. However, Lee's DNA was so small to be detected, they can't prove that he was in there. She's basically sort of relating to that. She's like, they haven't got a leg to stand on. They're getting us to try and say something.
Yeah. Tazeen, how easy would it be for me to knock somebody out?
Tazeen?
Yeah.
Or Inspector Lanix?
Tazeen. I like Inspector Lanix.
You don't know what Tazeen can do. You don't know what she's capable of. So
yeah, I know she's stupid.
It can be anything from super easy to, oh shit, this was a mistake.
What people say when they try to come at me, though.
Right. So, can I have a reason and a medicine from T as well, as you're looking at these findings?
Is there a mirror in here, Greg? Like a two-way mirror type deal? No.
Nope.
No.
Can I add on my studying and practical experiences?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Nope, and you as you look around that, you don't see that there are any cameras, nothing like that as well.
No hidden mics that look around.
Not that you can see. Yeah, I mean, not that you can see.
T trusts nothing anyway. She's staying silent this entire time purely to try and read everything around her.
Okay. Did you roll? Is that the one success?
Yes, that's the one success.
Okay. With the one success, it takes you just a few extra beats as you're kind of looking at this casually. Not only is there very little of Lee's DNA in your scans, you realize now there's not enough to indicate that he died at all.
That's what I was just thinking when you said that.
If you can't prove he's there. Well, this thing, again, T's going to reach out to Nat so that if there's no information really that he's in there, what if he's not dead?
This is a setup.
Mm-hmm.
Nat's gonna lean in Tazeen's face. You don't say another word. Clear?
You are not my superior. I am doing nothing to compromise either Starfleet, the Federation, or...
Okay, I'm putting my hand over, like, I'm gonna slap her.
She leans back when you try to initiate physical contact.
Yeah.
But she stops talking.
Bad person, you guys.
A few seconds later, and the door opens again. Inspector Lanix comes in. Have you reached a consensus? Are you going to help? Are we all going to be investigators together? And she closes the door with the assistance of your wonderful technology. Yes, liability.
Are these considered extracurricular hours, or is this an unpaid internship?
I don't know how they do things on your world, but I would say you're in overtime now.
Do I get paid overtime hours?
She looks around at the other members of the group. I don't know who's in charge. Does he get overtime hours?
Aren't you in charge?
You certainly think you're in charge, Inspector.
Aren't we still under arrest?
Are you?
I mean, if we're not, we could just go, right? Can we go?
Yeah.
Inspector, you do seem to enjoy talking in circles. Why don't we get one thing straight? We'll work with you to discover what has happened here, and after that we will be on our way. Do you agree?
I agree, but I do not need junior detectives. I am very capable of investigative work myself. I have reached an impasse. I need your science. And as I've been talking in circles, allow me to be blunt, either you will help me with your technology, or your identities will be displayed all over the city. If you are in fact looking for what happened to your Rickerly, you will be unable to conduct your own investigations. We work together, or you don't work at all.
It seems that you have quite the need for us. I therefore suggest that you do not threaten us.
I would much rather us all work as one happy family searching for the truth.
Agreeable. Look at us, one happy family.
And the inspector nods, and you get the feeling, the empath's feeling, she's being 100% honest. She just wants to find out why 3 people were dead. And she does think of them as 3 people, despite her theory that one of them would be an alien. She's treating Lee as she would members of her own society. There is a pride about her work, and she seems to be taking it. And she's also very happy that she believes that she called this insane theory and it was correct. Yes.
Do you have any refreshments?
I have cheese.
I'm actually thirsty.
Aren't we all?
Does this inspector look like Charlie's there? Because the answer is yes.
No, we're gonna go with it's tough because of the hair and the plumage and everything. So if we worked through it, let's go Jennifer Lopez.
You can't just say things like that after the fact.
What decade, Jennifer Lopez?
Are we talking
like
Made in
Jenny
Manhattan?
from the Black Block? Are we talking Selena?
Yeah.
Yeah, Made in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Are we talking The Cell?
I mean, recent J-Lo.
We're talking right between The Cell and movie she did with The Wedding Planner, like right in that
Okay,
Nice.
arena. right
high
there.
ponytail The Cell or flat hair The Cell?
We're gonna go with, because there's we've got the plumage, the flat hair version.
Okay, that's fine. I can work with it.
Okay, let's get the fuck out of here.
Okay, so what we will do is, as you all are, the inspector is planning to come with you.
Yeah.
She's walking out. Where would you like to go as far as what is your next course of action? With the revelation that T produced that Lee may still potentially be alive.
Right.
But T's only revealed this to Nat, though, right?
Yep.
So,
I've only done it to Nat so far. She does not
Yeah.
like this inspector. She's not saying
Yeah.
anything.
Why? She seems so
Nat to
friendly.
her and-
I think we should talk to Minnie Naloran again. Again, glares at Tazine.
Tazine just raises an eyebrow.
And the other person we were going to talk to was Dr.
Jensen.
Jensen? One of those.
You get an idea that as soon you make this kind of destination known to the inspector.
Yeah, I think we have to.
She stops as you all are like outside of the ABI right now. I've already done that. I've already talked to Cora, and I've already talked to the Dr. Jensen.
Oh, what were your conclusions about talking to them, Inspector?
Inconclusive because aliens are involved. So why don't you use your powerful science? I can walk around and talk to people.
You're so good at it.
Inspector, what science do you precisely believe is at our disposal? You think we are superheroes as well as aliens?
You come from another planet. That means your science has to be far greater than our own. If that's the case, you need to have or should be equipped with technology far superior to ours in every avenue of life.
Flawless logic. Sarcasm, 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 sarcasm.
Noise.
I like the fact that the Vulcan would have to say that because the empaths wouldn't be. So it's actually a text ad. Yeah. So.
Well, so you just took what did they say, Inspector?
The older one went to the restroom. She is gravely ill. That's been verified by the doctors. The young graduate student was ordered away. She was not on the list of lab requirements at the time. And
you took all of that at face value?
I checked the log. She was nowhere near the building. There are security captures around the outside of the university. She was not seen coming or going.
All right, well, we're still going to talk to both of them again.
This is a waste of time, but I will allow it.
Yep, you're so in charge.
I will be if I keep you from doing your job. Yes.
Do we have to sign safety waivers?
You'll have to ask your boss. And she looks at Takura.
Aren't you my boss?
I'm just a friend.
I don't like this type of friend.
Does anything about the inspector at all seem familiar?
You've never met anyone of her species before today.
Yeah, no, not appearance-wise.
Like demeanor?
Vocal cadence or anything like that?
I tell you what, roll me a reason and a science or security, depending upon your concern or what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. My concern is that she is not who she says she is. Her actions and knowledge seem to be beyond someone of, at least what I'm getting is her rank.
I would like for Amat to be babbling away with this inspector while Nat is doing that. If anything,
right.
Mostly just to see if there's like a difference in how she like emotionally portrays herself. Kind of run the gamut of like, how far can I push before you really want to push back? Amat's just like, well, so if I don't get hours for this, I just need to know, because I need 15 more hours for this semester. Do you know what kind of expertise I should put this under? Should I put this under investigation? Should I put it under anthropology? What do you think I should put this under? What kind of investigation thing is this? I don't know what it's going to be. Is this biology? Is this physics? I don't know.
I'm going to use a reroll, Greg.
Sure.
And that's basically Amat like the whole time.
Right, the inspector's nodding politely. the empaths would be able to hear that she's not annoyed in any sense of the word. You can see that to have this type of occupation, you have to have a pretty even-keeled disposition. She's not getting riled up.
3 successes.
Doesn't remind you of anyone that you can remember. But I will give you 2 momentum for that.
Thanks.
How long have you been hunting aliens?
She looks at something that is running across her forefinger and middle finger of her left hand, and it has some type of readout that's going around like a band. And she looks down. Just a few hours now.
You seem super sure of this.
She shrugs.
Have you shared your theory with anybody else?
Oh God, no.
Amat will like place their organic hand on her shoulder and say, "That's okay. I believe in you."
Thank you.
You're welcome. Amat likes her more.
Yeah. Is anyone following us?
Roll me a fitness and security.
Okay.
T is still doing that thing where she's awkwardly leaning towards things to try and get more readings, but she's making it look like she's just looking around the place.
1
Gotcha.
success.
Once again, this is a low lit area, and as it's growing to the afternoon, you don't see anything that looks like anyone's trailing you. You don't see the tells of a trail. Again, though, areas that you would kind of immediately brush off as being too dark to view from, or even when you all pass into an area of shadow, traditionally people that don't have dark vision might be able to, they wouldn't be able to follow. Perhaps people that do have dark vision could. So you're pretty sure you're not being followed, but there's a kind of twinge in your back of your head that the environment itself is suspect. So.
And we're headed back to where are we? Are we headed to where Jensen, whatever it is, or are we going back to the lab where Meanie was?
You could go to either the hospital or the lab. The hospital is on its way as the crow flies. So the inspector will tell you that if you wanted to kind of do this quickly, we can do that. And what I will suggest then is let's take our break now. And then when we get back, the scene's over. And then I will not take away any threat as we have just our momentum as I just awarded it to you. So I'll let you keep it. But when we come back, we'll continue this investigation and see what fun awaits our friends when they get further into whatever this is. We'll see you in a bit. If we're able to go. Are we able to go? Okay.
want to go. I meant what I said.
Hi, everybody. We're back. And just so you know, I think that we have just been presented with an opportunity to tell a tale of assimilation. As friend of the channel, Rock, has brought the Borg down on the group that we see arrayed before us. However, as is the only the best laid plans are discussed ahead of time, and Rock and I have been discussing things. So the Borg do not show up. They do not bleed out of the shadows that we had They're not following the group. A cube does not appear on the horizon yet. And so with the threat of the Borg looming, we will continue the episode and see what's to come of this particular problem. I will remind the group as we dive back in that there are numerous threads here to follow. A lot of things are not adding up. Your mission was to go to this planet, make sure that the Prime Directive is followed, and that if there's any evidence of extraterrestrial or alien technology that was left behind in the wake of Ricardo Lee's death, that it is removed from this society so they are able to progress without contamination.
Was I able to take the badge because it was left there?
She has it.
But
Inspector Lamb.
but why?
So we need to get the badge off her and then we can beam up.
Yeah. Let's just. I mean, I guess we should like double.
Okay.
Well, I will remind
punch her.
Yeah, you want me to
I will
punch her?
remind you that the badge is not the only thing that could potentially be alien technology, as Lee, according to
Right.
Dr. T, is not accounted for genetically.
Yeah.
So
Okay. I wish we could split up, but I don't think she's gonna let us. Although, what's she gonna do?
I will tell you what. I will allow you to roll a presence and pick something else. Presence and command, actually, for this one.
Okay.
If you want to convince, split up and look for clues, gang.
I want to go with the inspector.
I mean, we can all.
I'm keeping an eye on you.
What? Bet the inspector would let me touch things.
We need
Oh,
brains
okay.
or something.
Yeah,
I
like
don't know
when there's
exactly
really, like, the
how
kids and
I
the
want us
shopping
to split up, but
Fully grown 21-year-old Amat walking around in a monkey backpack.
Come on.
That's it. It's canon. When a mob goes home, that's what they do. It's canon.
the only thing I'm worried about is Meanie GTFOing because she's suspicious.
Kill her.
So I worry if we stop at where Dr. Jezen is, that we're gonna lose that time. The only reason I mean, besides that, the whole tachyon sickness thing, I think is what some of us were concerned about with her. So I don't know that we need to split up. If no one thinks that we do, then we can just continue on how we were going.
If we were to split up, as both Ellie and Takora would agree that we need one empath per group.
Yeah.
And if we were going to go to see Dr. Jensen in the hospital, then the doctor should go to see...
Right, and you should go to the lab with... Yeah.
Right.
So I would go with you to the lab, and Amat would go with T to the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think so.
I think this is a great idea.
I'll go ahead and try to roll to convince the inspector that
Jesus.
we should.
Amat seems like the empath least likely to wrestle me.
Don't go faster. Like,
And I'll use a point of momentum for an extra die. Would escape and avoidance apply to this?
You're not trying to escape or avoid. You're being
I know.
We're trying to avoid suspicion.
Ugh, I'll use my last reroll because that's awful.
Well,
Let's do that.
Yeah, why not?
Let's get rid of those re-rolls so we can.
Yeah.
By the way, I think we had a Q-tip so far with our 10 retweets. The comm badge was that. Just
Okay.
to reveal that.
2 successes.
She looks at you for a second. Okay. And when the teams are said T and Ahmad are going to the hospital, the inspector nods. I'll go with you then. And she points at Nat.
Who's taking Tazeen?
I guess the other group.
One empath, one Vulcan each.
Do you say
Tazeen.
that out loud?
No, this is just Ellie being Takora, but not actually saying
Yeah,
it.
yeah, totally. No, yeah.
You know?
Nice.
In like PC Inception going on here.
I have the 2 most chaotic
I
characters.
can't believe we have to go with
Most
Tazeen. Tazeen's the worst.
Good luck!
As soon as you all begin to kind of point where people should be going, Tazeen simply moves over with Nat and Takora. She's going to see Minnie Nalorian.
Cool.
She's not in the hospital.
Aw, jeez. I really was hoping. That is a mod. It's like, it's just
You
really-
don't have any restraining devices, do you, Inspector? While she's looking at Tazeen.
You see one of the plumes kind of rise a bit as the inspector says, "Why are you asking?" And you get a hint of intrigue. It's comical and humorous, but it's chiding.
I just like them. All right. I'm going to message T. The only problem is that if we try to, we don't have a tricorder in our group. So go there and then meet us as soon as possible.
And you can see if she just nods, like a really slight nod.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come in, Matt. Time to go. And sort of just starts moving because she wants to be away from this other Vulcan.
What a coincidence.
The inspector takes you just up to, as you all are passing by the hospital, and points and indicates the structure to T and Amat, and then also takes Amat and T's gaze and casts it higher onto a hill that moves up to the west, and at the top you then recognize the university. So it's all within walking distance here in like kind of the city center, and begins to walk off with Nat and Takora, but we're gonna stick with Amat and T as you walk into the hospital.
T will stand a bit taller. She's in a location she's more familiar with, and will probably walk in with confidence and just be looking around. Again, she's doing almost like a lap with her triporter not out, but she's doing that lap and just looking.
Okay. You do notice that much like a hospital, the setup is universal across societies. There is a check-in area that is manned by a Kalmuri. It's not automated or anything like that. But you do see numerous displays around, reminiscent of, technology in today's day and age here on Earth, 2020-ish, where we've got touch screens for everything. Certainly archaic as opposed to what you all have on the Reliance and in your everyday lives. But the kind of the plumage and the fox ears kind of turn as you walk up.
And a quick question, because there's been so many names thrown around. Who was it I was here to see?
Right. It is Dr. Jezen. Dr. Jezen. Jezen.
She's the old ill one.
And T will walk up to basically the desk. It's like, hello, I have an appointment with Dr. Jezen.
You see her move through a few things. Staff or patient? I don't have a Dr. Jezen on staff.
Patient.
You see her spin through, and you see a different color slide up. Oh. I'm sorry, she's passed.
And T steps back for a moment and has a think. And she tries to, like, is this person feeling sad about this? Or sort of...
There's an embarrassment that, it was very blasé. I'll find something for you. Oh my God, they're dead. My job's supposed to be more compassionate than this. That's kind of what you're getting. That and I'm very sorry.
T will make her voice croak a little bit, just like, gosh, when did it happen?
You see, like, touches the name, and you see additional information in the language of the Kalmari kind of bleed out underneath it. About an hour ago.
Could I go see her? I can't believe I missed. I can't believe no one told me.
Are you family?
Close friends. She was my tutor.
You feel conflict. I need you to roll a presence and a command here.
Oh God. Okay.
Amat, you are definitely close enough to assist.
I would love to assist by, like, draping my organic arm over T's upper shoulders and kind of pulling her close. And
she'll turn into you, just sort of like to hide her face. Almost.
I'm so sorry. I know you really wanted to see her, but I just...
It's okay. And
there's a war going across the face of this Kalmari right now as they're trying desperately to figure out what they want to do.
Does that mean I roll 3 d6?
Yes.
Sorry. Okay.
So with we're gonna bank 2 of those successes beyond to give you additional momentum with that fantastic roll. Yes. Straight down, take the lift. I'll call ahead and tell them you're coming. Just tell them your family.
Yes. Of course. Thank you so much. She sort of like reaches out to, like, I don't know how close they are behind the desk, but either way she reaches out, not necessarily touching them, but it's like, thank you. This means so much.
You see them see you reaching and are unaware of what you're trying to do, and then touches oddly, like puts the top of their hand palm down on the top of yours and pats through their hand. It seems to be a gesture that's not working well between the two societies, but she...
If anything, T will make herself look confused by this, seeing their confusion.
Pulls back their hands. Just right down. That I will, and you see them like furiously.
Thank you. And as soon as she turns, her face is straight again, and she goes straight towards the lift or the elevator.
Okay, so we'll fast forward about 2 minutes. You're taken down, and T, you've seen morgues before. This is one of them. And as you get down there, there's somebody waiting, and you see them touching their ear. What? You were the one that had to tell? Wait, they're here. And as the two of you walk up, right this way. And the Kalmari takes you in, and you are ushered into a small room, like a 6x8 type of room. It has a table arrayed. It does not look like an autopsy room, but it looks as if an actual bed has been rolled down here from one of the residential rooms, something that you would think it's been so recent. It's just, this is the first step. And as you get down there, you see Kalmari with the plumage is white, gray, and silver, and the age is apparent in this figure lying there, not covered completely, just lying in state. Still has the gown on and everything of what would be, I guess, their kind of patient attire, but it's just a loose fitting robe that's around them.
And she sort of takes like a gasping breath. I can't believe this has happened. No one told me. I thought
we're contacting family now. I'm so sorry. Let me leave you. And
please,
you see,
please, I just need a moment.
They back out of the room.
And as soon as they back out of the room, T looks to Amat and says, "Can you keep an eye on the door, please?" As she pulls out the tricorder.
Amat will look at T, and I'm just gonna give you like just this information for your own good. Amat looks at T, looks past T as T gives Amat like instructions, and nods vigorously, and then meanders to the door.
T has a thing that she's also very aware that Amat touches, lips, does everything with everything. So as much as she's walking around this,
Just have tactile compulsions, okay?
she has this sort of, she's going around this body, and she's looking, and she's not just using her tricorder, she's looking at everything. Every now and again, looking at the door, just checking Amat is either still there and not touching.
Amat
something.
is definitely still there, and Amat is definitely touching stuff.
Amat, let's get back to you in a second. Let's see
Okay.
what the doctor's going to do. And as soon as you've got a break, I'll let you know. Okay, T, you're going to try quarter, correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me then I want an insight and either science or medicine, please.
And also, can I use one of my focuses, whether it's studying and practical? I've got trust your instincts and all that sort of stuff.
Trust your instincts.
Yeah.
That one works.
If there's not enough, I'll definitely re-roll it if I've got re-roll.
I can tell you a little bit, but you're probably going to want more as soon as you hear it. So I'll just ask for, if you want to, I can tell you and then no re-roll, or you can go ahead and re-roll.
I'll re-roll anyway. Just
Okay.
see what happens. Oh my.
Okay. So as you go in and search, again, your tricorder is able to give back the readings that you yourself have helped to collaborate and kind of configure, as this Kalmorian died of tachyon sickness.
And she sort of pauses for a moment, looking at her readings. And I don't know if it's a more visual thing, but I'm assuming she looks like she's died of old age rather than something actually happening to her.
I will let you know this. There seems to be kind of lying on the bed an iPad, for lack of a better definition, and it's probably her patient records. You can use your tricorder to translate all of that. You can't visually see what's on there, but I will allow you to do that with an additional die because you're using the tricorder for this very purpose. It would be a reason and a science if you want to try to, or reason and medicine. I'm sorry, reason and medicine as you try to figure out like specifics of this. And as you're doing that, let's cut over to Amat. Amat, you're by the door and T is engrossed in what is going on.
Certainly seems that way.
There's a bevy of things here in this underground treasure box. And you hear Khan in the back of your mind. Oh, so many things.
Everything is ripe for the touching.
It really is. What do we need, I wonder?
I don't know. I never know what I actually need when I take things. I just take them because they look nice or they're pretty or they smell good.
I have an idea.
Tell me.
Do you see that across the room? And there's a device that seems to be pretty prominent in the room across the hall.
Oh, that's real big though.
Oh, you will not take it.
Oh, okay.
But I bet you there's something shiny over there as well.
With blinky lights?
Oh, perhaps.
But if we leave the room, T'll get mad.
We could be quiet.
I bet if we're quiet, T won't even notice. And then she won't be mad, and then Nat won't be disappointed. That's
I
a
like
2
your
for
logic.
1. Yeah. Nobody ever told me that I had good logic before. You're a good friend.
You never had a friend like me.
It's true! I will go touch a blinky thing.
Okay, I love Amat. I really do.
Paul
This is
said it. It sounds like a good idea when he says it.
right.
Can I see this at all, or am I literally just so
I
focused?
want to live deliciously.
The door that's open slides open silently. So for the same reason, I will do a fitness and security if you want to recognize what's going on. Or I'm sorry, was it what did we use before? Insight and security? Wasn't that what it was, Lauren? When you had to notice something that they were doing?
Either or.
Low numbers.
So yeah, insight and security to see if you recognize Amat leaving. And Amat, when you get over there, you do see that there are numerous blinky things in here.
There's so many blinkies.
One of them in particular is, yeah, you see her leaving. Or
I
you
am
see
on
them leaving.
like a mother. Like, as you go to, I'm like, where are you going?
I'm just checking the door. Just checking the door.
Stay where you are, right? I'm trying to find out really relevant information here. Then we
I
can
will.
go.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Don't move
I
from there.
won't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't do that.
No.
Very serious. You're the boss.
She sort of looks again. Just stay there. Just
Okay.
don't touch anything,
I won't.
please.
And like Amat's like mind, they're like, I won't. It's different if Khan uses the hand, okay?
Is it though, TK?
Nobody said Khan couldn't touch it.
But con.
You hear a in the back of your mind.
My best friend. We won't touch the blinkies.
T will like face away so she can see the door, see Amat, and just finish up on the last few.
You
bits.
could definitely see Amat like toeing backwards and then stepping back in, just like
Yes.
getting
What are you
antsy.
doing?
No, I'm just nothing. I'm stretching my legs.
Well, I tell you what. Stretch them over here.
Over here.
Just-
Ugh.
Over here.
Yeah, stand next to mom in the grocery store.
Uh-huh.
Let me get the reins out. Like,
Yeah, Amat like walks a little louder than they should over there. It's not quite a stomp, but you see like their shoulders droop, but they just fine. There's no trust in this away team.
Not right now. There isn't. No. Like, she sort of sounds genuinely nervous. I'm nearly done, and then we can go. We'll go find the others.
I want to touch the body.
It's cold.
Ew, it's slimy. Amat just like wipes it. I don't know what bodies feel like.
T, what you are able to find out from the reading that you take from the body is that it takes just a couple moments to realize that it wasn't as if this person or this Dr. Jezen was 18 and now died of old age. It looks that she was elderly but in good health as of her last visit 3 months ago for a routine checkup. It shows now they're reading it as old age, but you can see that the acceleration from your tricorder readings indicate extreme old age as the tachyon sickness affected her rapidly. You would guess that she was probably infected no fewer than 24 to 48 hours ago.
Okay. And she looks at Amat and she's like, "You ready? We're gonna go. We're gonna go and find the others."
Fine.
So bitter.
I'm demoting all of us when we get back.
I haven't done anything wrong.
No, we can't be the away team anymore.
I fully agree with this.
I only have one job, and it's to fly a thingy and also maybe touch some stuff.
We need to be disciplined.
And T.
By the captain.
Yeah, no. I know, that's why I said shh.
Oh yeah, I forgot the captain looks like Hugh Jackman.
Cannon.
And T, more so that Emma won't touch anything, she's like, "Right, I need to walk out of here looking upset. Put your arm around me."
What does?
And she sort of like pushes her forehead into Emma's shoulder and holds her other hand and starts to lead them out of the door.
Nat would let me touch things.
And do you know what? You can go ask your other parent when we get there, but at the moment.
When you are leaving and you're going past, kind of as you're hidden there in the tricorder, the translations are still up. You pass by the room that's just opposite of the one that you were in, and you see the technology is similar. You know, things kind of have to be that way when they're this rudimentary as opposed to the advances that you currently have in the Federation. It seems to be a lab, and you see numerous vials and what looks like a centrifuge, some type of separating device as you walk past T.
Separating device. She'll probably
But that's
pause.
It's a lab.
Yeah, she'll probably pause and have a brief look rather than a go in or anything.
Amat, who is walking with T, also pauses for a little longer than is probably necessary, and like turns their entire upper body towards the room, and then slowly turns it back. And it's like, "You're right, we have to go. We don't have time."
And listen, the journeys of Lauren's camera are my favorite journeys. All of these. You will hear in the back of your mind, Amat, as their consciousness registers the presence of Khan. Do not worry, my friend. You'll find other things to touch.
You're right. I just really wanted to touch this one. That's okay. We'll have lots of time to touch other things. It'll be okay. Amok kind of straightens their shoulders and like kind of drops the emotional manipulation act after that.
You all are able to ascend and get back out into the now darkening sky. This is a very dark city. There are still lights present, but it's predominantly dark as you all are beginning to rise the hill towards the university. But at the same time, we have Takora, Tazeen, Nat get to the university, and Marklet's he's easily able to get you Naloran. Meanie's brought back forward as Nat, you get a little bit of concern, but there's still grief going on when she sees you.
Hey,
Hello.
you're a liar.
She looks at Tazeen. She is not a liar.
All right. Well, she lied.
It is her story to tell.
If it's relevant, then she should tell it.
It is not. I can vouch for her.
Oh, well, I really trust you.
In this moment, we are not searching for a subjective truth, but the objective truth. I suggest that if you do not have anything relevant to add, Tazeen, you say nothing at all.
Very well. I was with her during the time of the experiment.
I literally wrote it down. I was like, is she telling the truth? I know it's hard to read Vulcans. I know.
Well,
That's
you
sort of
can
their...
Yeah.
see what Meanie's reaction is to that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Totally. Yep. Is she surprised? Am I feeling surprised?
Nope. Meanie looks around. We were together.
In what respect?
The eyebrow goes up on the Vulcan, Tazeen. Very well. I was helping her.
With a problem?
Yes, Dr.
Or like a
Couture.
problem.
Get out of my head.
Yes, it was
Stay
a
there.
problem. No. The late Dr. Couture was a terrible man.
Do you wish to elaborate on that statement?
Tazeen looks to Meanie, who nods, and looks back to you. He harassed Meanie, threatened to have her expelled, or at the very least, her work in the laboratory discredited if he was not allowed to be forward with her. I observed this during our meetings with the doctor, and I confronted him.
And his response?
His response was to attempt to work his magic on me. He was met with a hematoma beneath his left eye.
Which is why neither of you were here on the day in question.
Precisely.
But it would also give you a motive for murder.
It would, but in giving you this information, it should allow you to focus your search on the real murderer, as neither I nor Meanie were here to conduct any type of sabotage, nor would I, as I loved Ricardo Lee, I found him agreeable.
Like agreeable, or like, like...
When she used the word love, it seems very similar to something that you use completely out of context. I mean, it would have been the same as if she had said, I Corvette Ricardo Lee. Like, it just doesn't seem right as she said it. But the agreeable statement to Cora would definitely notice as something that Vulcans usually say when they are attracted or physically with somebody.
Does she seem to be Vulcans? Does she seem to have is she displaying any kind of grief or mourning then?
Roll me a insight and roll me a I'll take either science or command.
I'm gonna use a point of momentum on this. And could I use either interrogation or observation?
Observation.
Okay. 4 successes.
Okay, so that was a 3, so you can bank one of those momentum back. As she says agreeable, you see a slight, almost like a muscle tick in the side of Tazine's face. You don't register grief, but during your observation, you see that poker face, that visage cracks for a moment. And you still don't feel anything emotional, but that's not unlikely. It looks though as if something's wrong when she says it. However, you're getting anger from somewhere in the room and you're not sure where.
Whilst your tales of love affairs are certainly compelling, do you believe that to be any kind of motivation for the killing?
Tazine, I do not. Couture was taken care of, and the Prime Directive states that while I shouldn't have interfered, it did nothing to reveal the identity or the presence of the Federation. Therefore, I wouldn't have done anything to stop his progress in science. He, while a bastard, was also brilliant.
The latter does not excuse the former.
It does not.
I need to get away from these people. I'm gonna go circle the room and like get closer to the center of everything. I can't listen to them anymore.
Okay. While you begin to do that, let's have the rest of the group show up as Amat and T. You're able to walk up as you made better time at night and you get into the university proper and everyone is reunited except for Nat, who's walked off a bit. We'll say you're just at the edge of kind of telepathic communication with T, but actual like verbal communication, you're out of range.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
The inspector's being very quiet.
Sure, since she just heard all of that because Tazine sucks.
And T will walk in and sort of nod and look to everyone, and then out of confusion just look around to see if Nat's anywhere. But she's not saying like names or anything. Where is our companion? Where is our other companion?
The inspector?
No, she's talking about Nat.
Oh. The inspector nods in the direction that Nat walked. Nat, I'd like you to roll for me, please. Let's do an insight or a daring and a security.
Hold on one second. Everything just freaked. Here we go. I'll use that momentum that I banked, that I got back for myself. Okay. Is this related to observation or something else?
Yeah, observation definitely.
Okay.
Kind of peripheral observation.
Okay, got it. 3?
Perfect. So I can either give you can bank a momentum, or I can give you extra information.
I'll take the info.
Okay. From your position here, which is kind of like that observational area above where the lab was, you're kind of in that elevated seating position. You look down and you see shadows moving in the laboratory.
Can I tell where they're coming from?
They seem to be searching the laboratory as you see them kind of dart from one bit of darkness to the other. There's no illumination in the laboratory right now, but with that roll and with the information, you get it.
Is the lab... Mm-hmm.
We just got 20 retweets, so I will give you a Q-tip. And as Q really liked the cut of your jib at the end, for some reason, a light slowly glows in the laboratory as if turned on by someone. And as the three figures turn and look up, they're all human.
Am I blocked by a window or anything, or could I, like, 3-point landing jump down? That's a bad idea, but I said it.
You could probably, as I explained in the narrative, this entire wall and observation is compromised. It is no longer fit correctly. If you wanted to punch and jump down into that thing, I will allow it with a fitness and security roll.
Sweet. Edge of telepathic range, right?
You are.
Humans, probably not actual humans in the lab. And I'm going to hop down. Fitness and security. Oh, God. I said I was going to do it. I'm going to do it. It's cool. It's fine.
And you have your determination, too, if you want to just do it.
Oh, boy.
There's only...
Weighing the time that's left in the session versus Greg's tone of voice.
Should have used determination.
I'll save it. I'll save it, maybe? You just scared me, so no. I'll use a point of momentum, though.
Okay.
I don't
T
question
started walking towards Nat, so if T's not with the others anymore, so is it only T that's heard it?
Okay, with a 1. As this occurs, T, you're walking towards, the inspector's eyes narrow and begins to follow you as well. Amat and Takora, you would see everyone kind of drifting in the direction that Nat went.
It might be like really awkward, but hearing what Nat says without saying anything out loud, T will just break into a run.
Inspector starts running right behind you. Takora and Amat, what would you like to do?
Takora's gonna follow.
Amat?
Amat just got on the scene, so I'm not really sure what's going on here. I know everybody's running, but I also know that Tazine and this meanie girl look really suspicious, so I should probably hang out with them for a little while. Plus, there's no one to tell me I can't touch stuff.
That's right. As everybody rushes off, with the exception of Amat, as they are staying back with Tazine and Meanie, we will cut now to Nat. Nat, as you break through the glass. It doesn't shatter. The whole panel of solid plasteel, boom, and then rocks in on itself as it falls in. And you see the three figures jump back just as this big plate hits the ground with you on top as you land in a 3-point stance with your plumage. But as soon as you hit this area, your holographic rig fades and you look as you always do. There are no prosthetics, no surgery. Your holo rig goes dark as they all three look at you. And I want you now to roll your insight and security.
I'll use another point of momentum. Maybe this will be better this time. Is this observation related or something else?
Oh, observation related, yes.
Okay. 2.
With 2, I will let you know this, that the eyes of the human that are looking at you, you did not see those eyes in a human frame before, but the eyes of Datak simply say, well. And the human to his right, their hand already inside the snowball of death, triggers something, and a white light encompasses the entirety of the laboratory. We are on the bridge of the USS Reliant. Captain Yates is looking around, startled, as Nat, you are back. No longer anyone has their surgical or prosthetic devices to look like the Kalmari. You're at your tactical station. Takora, you're at your science station. T, you are all of a sudden with the doctor down in the med bay. And Amat, you are behind the controls. And in front of you, in the view screen, is a vast cube. And across the comms, you all hear the following. I am Locutus of Borg. Resistance is futile. You will disarm your weapons and escort us to Sector 001. If you attempt to intervene, we will destroy you. And as you look around, you see other ships flying. You see an Excelsior class, the USS Melbourne, a Miranda class, the USS Saratoga, an Ambassador class, the USS Yamaguchi. And as they all move to intercept this great cube, Takora, as you look down at your science station, it reads the telemetry where you are. And it says, Wolf 359. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we're going to end this session of Perfection Shadow. As next week, the crew of the USS Reliant takes part in the battle that nearly wiped out Starfleet. Yay! Brought to you by Rock, everybody. And we're going to roll next week. I'll hand back off to Alice.
This game's gonna give me a friggin' heart attack before the end, Greg.
I'm gonna get an aneurysm is what I'm gonna get.
Yeah. I don't know who's gonna bring it on first, like the Borg or some other entity or Amat. Like, who's gonna cause it first? It's a friggin' race.
It's me.
I'm pretty sure it is you.
It is.
We love you.
And they're just like, oh, big sphere. I wonder what
Yeah,
it's like.
I'm gonna touch it. I'm gonna touch it.
I love Amon. I love you.
Yes.
I mean, the way I figure, like, a GM put it there, like.
Yeah, but the GM's Greg.
So, well, I don't understand. Greg wouldn't lie to me.
It's all right, Lauren. It's all right.
Greg's my best
Anyway.
friend.
Never. That would
For
never lie.
for 3 hours out of every Friday.
Right.
We're besties for
It's
that
true.
particular window of time.
Yeah, Greg wouldn't lie to me.
Wait,
Stray or tell me to jump down an elevator shaft. He would suggest that it might be fun, and maybe it would have been.
Exactly. It would have been fun for a specific period of time. And then
Wait,
it wouldn't have.
Wait, okay, I know we're still live, but did this battle happen before or after the point in time that we were just in?
Wolf 359 happened several years ago.
Fuck!
Time is a funny thing. Oh no! Is Con still here?
I guess we'll find out next week.
Oh no!
Oh god. Okay. We're gonna go round and say, everyone say where we can find you, plug, and also your favorite bit. If you want to just scream into the mic, Lauren, you can. I might. So we're going to head round, and first of all, we're gonna start with the lovely TK.
That's me. It's T-Con. I stole that joke from someone else. It was probably from Guillermo. I'm gonna go ahead and guess that. I write spooky stories on the internet, and if you like spooky stories, then you can find them at tkjwrites.com. I'm never going to update that website because I'm lazy and a liar. If you like to watch me derail adventures and make terrible decisions, then you can. I have a schedule. It's on my pinned tweet thread. It's great. If you want to see me as a dungeon master doing spooky games, then you can watch me tonight on the Wizards D&D channel. It'll be awesome. We have a Ravenloft campaign. I am putting a super spooky monster in there because I always give a secret peer into what I'm going to be using. I will only lift up my Bayolet necklace as a clue for what tonight's episode is about. That is it. If you watch tonight, you'll figure it out. That's fine. And if you don't, that's fine too. I'm not your dad. I won't be disappointed if you don't follow my life's plan for you. Thanks, Dad. Anyway, my favorite part was definitely every part with my three moms in it, the interrogation scene with the inspector, and I also absolutely love every time Lauren loses her shit. Yeah.
I don't want a highlights reel of just Lauren.
Yes, only Lauren. Oh, I already told them this backstage, but my other favorite part was when Takora was like super hot and was like, "This is how it's going to go down," and I was like, "Tell me more." Like the 50 Shades of Grey theme is in the background. The Weeknd is playing. I was like, okay, that's it. Okay, I'm gonna mute myself now. Bye.
Lauren, hello.
Hi. My favorite part was none of it. No, I loved it. These are my notes because all I had was this one piece of paper that's not even really paper. I don't understand half of it anymore. I'm Lauren. I'm that salty ginger over on Twitter. I play games around the internet with my friends. I played 2 games here on the Scratticus Academy and 2 over on Off the Table. I'm playing Adventures in the Wild Blue tonight, Lady Blackbird campaign, and I am part of the team at Tales from the Grim with Greg. And we do lots of cool stuff over there. We're going to have a one-shot of Honey Heist on Sunday night that Kiana is going to run for us. And then I run a Lady Blackbird campaign called Wild Blue Yonder on Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern that Alice and Greg are in. Join us over there. It's fun.
All right, Lauren. Okay, we're now gonna hop over to the very lovely Ellie.
Hello everyone, I'm Ellie. I have played Takora, your friendly neighborhood science officer, Vulcan science officer, obviously. So my best part about today was like how much I didn't know what to do. because I was like, what would Takora do? And I have no idea, because Ellie, have never been to Starfleet Academy and studied any of the protocols. So it makes it really difficult to play Takora, who has. So just my own paralysis was kind of hilarious. And basically anything that Amat did this episode, and Lauren screaming, and like T's like badass acting, y'all. Like, damn. When we get back to the ship and we put on it, like, you know, the USS Reliance version of Pirates of Penzance or something, he's getting the lead.
Head of theatre.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can find me on the Twitters. I'm at _Kempester, CEMPESTRE. You can find me on Wednesdays on the Greyhawk channel at 2 p.m. EST, playing Mordenkainen's Path of the Plains, where I play the super depressed arcane trickster rogue Lux, who will stab you for your bagel. I also do a podcast which comes out every 2 weeks called Monster Crush, which is about smooching monsters, cryptids, and supernatural beings. And I do that with my bestie Heavenly, who's another awesome streamer, and like, she's great. And yeah, what else do I do? Oh yeah, I'm trying to finish writing my PhD right now, so I'm insane. And yeah, please send love, because I'm dying.
Oh,
yeah,
it's okay. Everyone is so stressed after this. Last but certainly not least, Craig.
Oh, I had a great time. It was super fun. My favorite parts, with Khan being introduced, I couldn't have written a better companion for Khan than Amat. They are fantastic. Playing with TK as Khan is so super fun, because everything is met with, you know what, I honestly, I'm gonna have to roll at some point, because Khan's not like wholly evil. He's not this terrible he just feels like he's superior to everybody else. But at some point, man, can Amat crack Khan?
It is impossible for Amat to be suspicious of people. Like, Amat, no matter who we meet, Amat is like not suspicious of them. They're just like, oh, okay. Oh no, you seem like a jerk. Or, oh, you seem nice. But there's no like, until you show them otherwise, they're just like, oh, we're best friends. Best friends.
Right. And technically, Khan's done nothing but assist. And one time he took control of the hand when he beamed the Genesis device aboard, and he apologized.
Yeah, he's been very good about our boundaries.
Right. He's starting to. So I'm curious as what I'm going to do, because if I had Khan right here and I asked him, I don't think that he would. I think he would genuinely say that he is friends with Amat. Yeah. So
Alice, can you do something? Can you do something about this?
Best friends. Why don't you want me to have any friends, Mom?
Right, the parents disapprove of Khan.
You're hanging with the wrong crowd.
Be gay, do crimes. Okay, I'm leaving.
Oh, fantastic. I had a blast with everything else. Obviously, being the GM of this, I'm privy to a lot of information that's flying around in whispers and things, not among the crew, but from the crew to me. And as the story plays out, it's really interesting how all this is coming together. And I really enjoy. Chat, you are absolutely fantastic, Academy. Rock, thank you so much. We are going to have a blast preparing for the Borg next Friday this time. I am Grimjack21502 on the Twitter, part of the Tales from the Grim team on the Twitch. I will promote this, that we have Highlander, If on a Winter's Night, Sunday at 4 p.m. coming up. A lot of fun things going on at the channel, a lot of fun things here at the Academy. Make sure you're back here next week when we bring on the Borg, and we will also have another one of our previous season donations coming into play again, but I will tell the crew, perhaps helping a bit, you have help coming in the form of Hawkeye. So we will see exactly how that pans out, but you will be battling through the events of Wolf 359, the most devastating naval confrontation in Starfleet's history, before, of course, we had a lot of the events that occurred in Deep Space Nine. But this was a big one, and the Borg took it to the fleet quite a bit. We'll see what happens, and if the Reliant can rewrite history as it has entered into the fray. I can't wait until next week. This crew is the absolute best. Such kindness. Please follow all of them. Humor, intelligence, kindness. It's all there, the total package. I get to be along for the ride. Academy, I will see you next week.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, so that leaves me. I'm White Rabbit Pick. That's where you can find me on Twitter. I do all the photography stuff, as well as I am over on the Scrat Academy 5 days a week, both as DM and as player. And when I'm not there, you can find me over on Tales from the Grim, as already has been mentioned in the Lady Blackbird campaign and also the Highlander campaign, both which I'm super excited about. My favorite bit, I think it's like Cora's getting a little bit sassy, and I kind of like it. She's, even though like everything is logical, there's some sass there, and I feel so mean for not letting a mutt touch everything, but I know T wouldn't let her either, so it's that sort of awkward moment, and just sort of like Nat, just like, I'm gonna punch him. I'm gonna just, you could see the rage building of, it would be so easy if I just knocked them out. Can we do that? Can we do that? Sort of thing. But I look forward to this game every week. I love this game. I love this crew. So yeah, thank you so much. I'm already excited for next week. We are gonna go and raid Austin Marie. So head over there, send all the love. Oh yeah, I also want to say, chat, these Khan jokes, there's a lot of them. Like, well done. But yes, you will see us next Friday, and we'll see you in a couple of hours for Ryuj Armor. So until then, keep evoking emotions, and we'll see you later. Bye.